Kids Presence India Kids Summit Season 2. Next session promises to be super exciting because the topic is kids entertainment, then, now and future. And for this session, we are in conversation with Pradyuman Maheshwari, founder MXM India, joined by Sikka, head creative content and research, Kids TV Network Viacom 18, Rajiv Chilaka, founder and CEO, Green Gold Animation Private Limited, Vincent Noronha, chief marketing and business head, Havmor Ice Creams. Over to you, Pradyuman sir.
Thank you very much. And welcome to all of you here, and welcome to all our my co-panelists here as well. The topic that we have been given is kids entertainment, then, now and future. It's a fairly broad-based topic, and we could go on and on about it, especially when we have a panel comprising folks like Sikka, who heads creative content and research of the Kids TV Network at Viacom 18, Rajiv Chilaka, I should say Rajiv Chota Bhim Chilaka, founder and CEO of Green Gold Animation Private Limited, and Vincent Noronha, chief marketing and business head of Havmor Ice Creams. The topic is fairly broad-based, and we've just had Aditya Pathak speak about, share the numbers with us about kids' viewership on television. But clearly, it's not just about television that we see right now. It's a lot more than just television. We have multiple devices that are there. So I'm going to first go to you, Vincent, because you are the money bags. You are the person who advertises in various channels and various other various other platforms that are there. How do you, as an advertiser, see the entire genre of kids entertainment in terms of viewership, in terms of the stickiness, and how it has moved from say 5 to 10 years in the past to now? Vincent?
Yeah, thanks, Pradyuman, and thank you for all the co-panelists. So I'll try and answer your question probably in 3 parts: then, now, and future. Okay. So while there's a bag of money in the last 2 years has definitely depleted. We all know the reasons behind it. So have our advertising spends. However, when we used to advertise on the kids genre, the kids portfolio, the only thing that we used to see is, again, as Aditya was taking us through the numbers, in terms of viewership, we see a lot of viewership in the afternoon time band, and that is where we see, or at least our insight is, the kid does not watch it alone. There is a guided viewership, either with the mother or with the elders in the family. And they also become our core TG to whom we want to direct our advertising. So in the past, we used to take this approach that let's advertise kids in the afternoon time band where they are back from school. They have guided viewership along with their family members. And this is how our learnings used to be. As a brand or as a category, when we advertise largely during summers. Ice creams, we all understand it's a summer portfolio again. And during this summer, it's large part of it is the summer vacation in India. So at afternoon time band, mother, child viewing it together becomes the apt portfolio when we used to advertise then. In the last 18 to 20 months, we have traversed a little bit more from television onto other mediums. We've looked at digital as a great source of advertising. And another reason I would say that is Aditya has tried and validated our point that though the viewership on TV has increased, the advertising revenues haven't corroborated that increase. So advertisers like us have moved onto a platform which is digital, where we are seeing much more content, much more Indian generated content for our Indian kids. And that is where we are putting our monies right now, uh, removing it from television, putting it onto OTT or putting it onto a YouTube platform. Just to name a couple of them is, for example, we are targeting the Coco Melon. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about the Coco Melon platform or channel on YouTube. This is where we've spent certain amount in during this summer, during this lockdown. So again, now this is our current strategy, that all the viewership that kids are doing right now is on online, and that is where most of the time is spent because of education, because of other activities, and that is where the entertainment also complements them. Future, going ahead, what would the trend be? We are expecting the current trend to continue in the future. That is what we expect, and that is what all the media providers or the content creators are also helping us, because that is where the content creators are.
Vincent, I'm going to ask you this question. While the theme of the panel is kids entertainment, but given the fact that you have a past in in the print media as well, uh, tell me, as an advertiser, when you look at kids, is it only video medium? Is it only television and video on digital? Is print totally dead for you in terms of reaching out to your potential target audience?
If it's related to the kids TG, I would say yes. Print nowhere fits into the media plan for kids.
Right. Thank you. I think that's a fairly straight and direct comment. I'm going to come to you, Rajiv, next, and then to Anu, because you are while you are aligned with Chhota Bheem with a certain platform, but the point is that as an independent, okay, and having seen through the journey of Chhota Bheem and before that at the entire genre of kids entertainment, what do you see? What according to you has been the journey like for yourself and as somebody who looks at the genre? Given the fact that now you have multiple IPs, and when we come to when we have Anu speaking, their platform has had so many of them. But what is your view on the entire genre?
Yeah, thanks, Pradyuman. Hello, everyone on the panel. So, I think first thing, I'm very itching to have these kind of meetings in real life. I mean, it's been almost a year and a half that we are all in this COVID scene, and then the second wave, and I hope everybody here and the families and all are safe. So coming to the kind of the animation kids business side of thing, I think there is no better time that India has seen in terms of kids business. I think we are very rightly positioned to kind of take off from here. I think from if we go with the what like we talked about past, present, and future. Now starting in 2000, when towards 2001 when we set up Green Gold, the early stage of Green Gold. So if you go with that kind of thing, at that point there was only one kids channel, and slowly by next 4-5 years there were more than 6 kids channels. Today there are a lot more, and at that point the only way you could make kids content was go to a kids channel. Today there is a lot more opportunities for studios like ours and others, that it's not just a kids channel you can work with. You for animation you can work with YouTube, digital platforms, OTT platforms like Netflix, Amazon, Woot Kids, of course, and there are so many other ways to kind of monetize your content. And then not just like when we are like example as a company, when we are working with kids, we understand this, that today's kids are different from kids of a decade ago, and they're much more different, their technology much more advanced, and then also you also have to reach out to them through multiple platforms. It cannot just be that you're on one network and that is enough. So today you need to be present on YouTube, you need to be present on an OTT platform, then you have to be present on a kids channel, then also have a reach to them through physical form, that is either through merchandise or comics, those kind of things. That's when your brand shows that how popular it is doing. So it becomes very tricky about like today, like where to work with and whom to, because there is work coming for everyone, which is great. I think thanks to uh, channels and platforms like Viacom, I mean, they promoted Indian animation. Warner, which is Turner, has promoted Indian animation. Disney, the same thing. Sony, yeah, the same thing. Discovery, the same thing. So, which results that today we have lot of work for animation studios in point of view. So now today it's like earlier we had to take whatever comes our way, but today we are able to choose what shows we want to produce and stuff. Same time, there is million opportunities out there. I mean, still like in 2021, we still have a lot more kind of content not being produced for kids yet. Like we don't have still a specific girl show out there. We still don't have live action successful show for kids. So which shows that, like, you know, our industry is maturing. Same time, we have a long way to go. This is just the beginning. And I'm so excited actually that today, I mean, I've chosen the right field. Like when about two decades ago, I wasn't sure what to do, but I really enjoy working in the kids business, and I've kind of worked on all sides. Like I like from, you know, Beam as licensed, from ice creams to noodles to what all, and name any product he's been there, including the sanitizer to hand soap to a biscuit packet. So we are blessed that we've been able to do that. But there are going to be many more beams that are going to come, and there are already some great shows we ourselves are working on, like Rudra with Viacom and a few other shows with Sony, which are upcoming, as well as with Disney that are upcoming. So it's I would think it's golden times.
Great. Of course, these are golden times, and much as the pandemic has been a downer, it is uh, for uh, for this domain of children's entertainment. It has been a one long, if I might say, a vacation period. If Anu, I remember every year Nickelodeon and the Kids Entertainment Network of Viacom 18 would have these press conferences where you would talk about the children's entertainment special programming that you were doing for the summer. But now it's because of the fact that people are at home most of the time. It's it is what it is. But let me get to that question later. But to you, Anu, in terms of the domain that has been there in kids entertainment, we've seen a huge growth, and we've seen the huge growth at the Viacom 18 slew of channels, and everywhere else. There have been more channels that have come up. How do you see the entire domain from, as the topic of this theme is then, now, and the future?
Thank you so much, and sorry, my connection just got disconnected and I lost out on didn't get to hear what others had said, especially Rajiv. But I heard the latter part of his comments, and to a great extent, I agree with what Rajiv is saying. Rajiv has already given a brief glimpse of what the category was 10 years back, what it is now, and what it's going to be in future. I'll just add on a few points to that. And hopefully I will not be repeating him, because as I said, I didn't hear the first part of his conversation. Yes, we have come a long way from where we all started. As a matter of fact, when I'm in the morning, I was thinking about this subject, and it's just your own memories start jogging around, and you start feeling, where did we all start from? And I remember at Nickelodeon, that's where the journey for the local content production started for us. It started in 2010. Now, for us, and I'm assuming for Rajiv, this was a couple of years before that. So if you actually look at it, the journey, it's been a very small journey for us so far. in terms of local content that is being produced in India. It's just a beginning. And if we look at the numbers which are there, just the sheer population that is there of the kids, I think almost close to 35% of population in our country is below 14 years of age. So you can imagine the kind of, the audience that is sitting out there for us to serve them. So that's a huge, huge incentive for us. We have, it's almost 8% of the 2+ audience constitute or contribute 8% of viewership to the entire TV viewership. So it's a big, big chunk which is sitting out there. And I always believe for us, it's just a beginning. These are just the baby steps that we have taken so far. Pandemic was tough. At the same time, as I believe wherever there's a problem, there's always an upside to that as well. Of course, we were all, last year, suddenly we saw what lockdown was all about. One had just read about it, one had never experienced it, and we experienced it for the first time ourselves. And suddenly we were all grappling with the fact how to cope up with this situation. But I give it to a lot of studios, the way they managed to, take control of the situation and how they turned this around into an opportunity. And today what I hear from a lot of studios is, we've suddenly come up with a new model of working, whereby you don't really need all the people sitting in the studios just to deliver the work. For us, yes, we all had a setback for first 2-3 months or so. And after that, things started coming back on track. The viewership, of course, for us, the biggest, as a broadcaster, for us, the bigger challenge was suddenly you have the audience sitting out there waiting to be fed with newer and newer content. And yet we were trying to, initially at least, we were, struggling big time in terms of how to continue producing newer content. But I think all the studios in India, we have to give it to them that they made this, saw an opportunity out there. And today, I believe that the business model for the studios probably would have changed big time in terms of how they're going to operate. And to coming back to your point as to where we stand today and what's the future, I think the future is extremely bright, as Rajiv said, and as you are aware. We are not just happening, we are not just witnessing the launch of various other platforms. Right now, even if we look at just the TV stations, I mean, the number of kids channels that are opening virtually year on year, obviously they're seeing some business sense in that. It's only then that they're jumping into this game. Otherwise, I don't think anyone would be taking a business decision if they don't see a potential in this particular category. We know how influential the kids are, whether the advertiser accepts it or not. The reality is today a kid is a big influencer in every decision that is made at home. The good thing is today, almost 15, if you look at 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 years back, we were really not making anything which was specific to kids. We were not catering to kids at all. Kids were compelled to watch content which was not actually meant for them, which was never made for them. This is a time that we have started catering to kids, understanding what their needs are, what their dreams are. What is it that excites them? What is it that entertains them? Somewhere we, try very hard to send out certain messages to them, positive messages, which we try to do. And we have a long way to go. As mentioned earlier, there are a lot of categories which have not been catered to so far. We perpetually are in a catch-22 situation where we want to do it. We have a platform to do it. And I speak as a broadcaster. Unfortunately, we don't have the support from the advertiser to do it. For instance, preschool, which Green Gold, led by Rajiv, has done a brilliant job of coming up with the most successful Chota Bheem, spin-off for a preschool. We all would like to create local preschool content, and it's an area which has almost been untouched. And I'm saying that because today a Nick Jr. almost commands 8% of the market share in 2 to 14 in the kids category. So we know what the potential is. It's just that we are in this dilemma as to when the advertiser is going to understand the potential of this particular subcategory in the kids category, for us to then go ahead and start investing in this kind of in that subgenre as well. So we have just taken baby steps right now. While we have, yes, Nickelodeon has been perhaps in today's age and time, I guess it would be the largest local content maker in India when it comes to animation. We have close to 8 or 9 shows which are on floor, which are in production, which are on air. So, and we'll continue to do that, but we still believe these are just very small steps that we have taken, and we are long way to go.
Anu, just on one of the points that you raised in terms of advertisers evangelizing some of the new concepts and the innovations, given the fact that you do now have pay TV, you do have people, you do have ways and means in which you can get people to pay for the content. Are broadcasters, is linear television just too dependent on advertisers to fuel the innovations?
Oh, well, we have our subscription model as well. I mean, we do get substantial subscription revenue, but that alone is not enough for us to say that we'll continue to invest in the content, irrespective of the fact whether we get the advertising money or not. Yes, we are dependent on advertisers substantially. Until the time we do not see, one can say right now the ratio of subscription revenue is not as much for us to say that whether we can bring on the advertiser on board or not, we'll continue to invest in the content. For us, both these streams of revenue have to work very extremely effectively for us to continue to invest in local content. I mean, why just right now look at the models which have not been done? As a matter of fact, even if we have to continue feeding our existing pipeline, for instance, if I have to continue to invest in local content which is catering to the more boy-centric shows and for an older age group in the kids category, which would be, let's say, 8 to 13 or 8 to 14, we still need the support of the advertiser. We know for a fact we have an extremely under-indexed category. Kids category happens to be one of the most under-indexed category, I think, in the TV business. And that is the reason why, while we continue to produce content, unfortunately, we have not been able, if we look at the animation quality, we have not been able to match up the standard which is done in the West. And one of the reasons, and if we look at the budgets that we give out compared to the budgets that are given out, in the Western countries for any animation product, any animation show or an episode, there is absolutely no comparison. So for us to keep improving, for this animation industry to grow, yes, there are these OTT platforms where it's subscription led. If you have it, we have our Boot platform, and we just hope that it's on an upward trend, and our hope is that it's going to grow into one of the most sought after, because that's the only exclusive kids platform that we have in India as of today, Boot Kids. So we are looking at the growth there also. But for the TV channel, both these streams, which is subscription as well as advertising, it's crucial for us if we have to continue to invest in the local content, be that any genre or subgenres.
Right. Vincent, I'm going to come to you, because clearly the call is that advertisers need to invest more in ensuring that the innovation happens. But as somebody who's with an ice cream genre right now, and you've had a past in an FMCG major like Hindustan Lever, what is it that you are looking for from the entertainment majors, especially those who are in children's entertainment, to ensure that you that you put in the money, and you put in perhaps more money?
So in the last 18 to 12 months is what I'll comment on. We've seen a trend that for kids, the first screen is their handheld device. Okay, it may be largely because of educational purposes. They are stuck onto their handheld devices. Whereas we are talking about OTT platforms giving us new content. Is there a way that what TV delivers, an OTT or a handheld device can deliver. For example, if I have to put in just layman terms, a Star TV and a Hotstar giving the same content to a cricket lover is what can we look at innovation, or can we look at that content for kids in the time to come? While Woot Kids would be present as an OTT platform, again, Anu can comment better. What is the subscription number of subscribers that we have on Woot Kids? Okay, if you had to make content more popular and more accessible to more number of kids, advertisers would definitely flock to Woot Kids, because that is where the kids are. And right now, what advertiser, at least me as an advertiser, what I see is, because they hold a handheld device, it could be a tab or a mobile, I quickly flock onto a YouTube channel to advertise myself, because I am 400% sure that they are watching it on the mobile phone. And that is where I go, and TV takes a second stand there. So if there can be a strategy where content can be leveraged, the same content can be leveraged on the mobile phone that you do on television, advertisers will come forward and fund this money there.
Vincent, you are a fairly response-driven advertiser, right? In terms of, if you do advertise, you want the response to happen. It's not just branding that you're looking at from your advertising. Now, you had mentioned earlier that you have embraced some other platforms in the recent past. Are they giving you the kind of response that you expect? Are your sales increasing thanks to your switch from linear television to these platforms?
So as a marketer, we would always want to put a correlation between advertising and sales. Definitely, I would say it hasn't worked 100%, but it has worked at the cost at which we have incurred. A television cost versus a digital cost is, you can't compare the two. However, the output that we had expected, we've got those.
So basically, you want more discounts from the television guys, is it?
I wouldn't say discount, but if you look at a 10-second rate that happens on a television, and the impressions that you get out of it, and the CPM that or a cost per thousand that an online aggregator helps me with, there's a huge difference in the cost model.
Except that in digital, you don't really have third-party data monitoring tools, right? You have proprietary tools. So how do you know that X number of people are watching?
So that is where your first question comes into play, is whether am I correlating it back to sales? If we see a jump there, if we see any movement or traction happening there, we correlate it back to advertising.
Can I just jump into your comment saying you would want that the same content which is available on television to be present on on OTT, and that always gives you a bigger exposure. Now, this is a personal, what we do, because we are working, of course, everything happens to be under the same, since it all belongs to us, belongs to Viacom 18, which is Woot and all the 4 channels of Viacom 18 Kids channel. Actually, majority of our content which we play out on the channels rest on Woot Kids as well. They do have some shows. They have done a lot of acquisition, which are new shows. But a bigger chunk of their library consists of shows which actually rest on all the 3 channels of us, which is Nick, Sonic, and Nick Jr. But in addition to that, if you say, and as a matter of fact, this is one trend that we are seeing, that today, it's a feedback that we get from people, and especially from the studios, that today the OTT platform, their mandate is they will pick up a show only if that show is present on one of the broadcasting the channels as well. Otherwise, they're not really interested in getting the original content produced. This is the feedback that we get. And also to your question, that children are normally on their devices, are on the phones. Now, our experience happens to be very, very different from what I'm hearing out here. And when I say our experience, we say it on the basis because we actually, every show that we produce, or every year or every alternate year, even with the existing show, we go to the market and we conduct these surveys with the children. We do a face-to-face interaction with children to understand where they are, what their lifestyle is. So it's a more generic kind of a research. And surprisingly, one thing that we get is, you'll be surprised to hear, so, every time we ask them, do you prefer watching content on TV or on phone? And normally the response is, we like it on TV because the screen is bigger, the audio is clear. And with phone, what happens is, it's not normally, the kids don't have phones of their own. It's their parents' phone or the older siblings' phone. It says every time, jab bhi ghanti bajti hai, humse phone wapas le liya jata hai. So we'd rather watch the content on the channels rather than on the phones. So and I'm not saying this trend is not going to change. Of course, the smaller different screens are here to stay, and they're here to grow, and they will continue to grow. But by that, if today we start saying or start believing that, oh, channels are to be undermined or channels are too expensive, trust me, the kind of eyeballs, and I don't say it because I'm working in a channel and speaking on behalf of a channel, I say it purely because we interact with children on such a regular basis that even today, what they, the bigger chunk of their viewership comes from a normal linear channels rather than these OTT. Yes, we can definitely talk about the fact that if we look at the cases of metro cities and all that stuff, maybe that trend is growing and it'll continue to grow, and slowly and steadily it'll percolate even down to the smaller cities. But for now, this is the reality. I mean, yes, and to add to that, when we talk to them about YouTube, invariably their response is, oh, we do go to YouTube to catch up on the episodes that if we have missed any on the channel. That is the response that we get from the kids, and this is literally coming from the horse's mouth. So this is what our experience is.
It's interesting, this discussion, this debate and discussion about linear television versus OTT will never end. But I'm going to, we're running out of time. I'm going to ask Rajiv. You are, in a sense, an insider and an outsider. But if you want to basically sum up this entire discussion about, one is, what is it that you are looking for as a studio and one of India's biggest makers of kids entertainment shows and one of the most successful? What is it? If you had a magic wand, what would you like to see happen with this entire genre, whether it is regular television, whether it's OTT, whether it's whatever? Because I do know that Green Gold has also invested in comics and various other forms of print options also. So what is it that you would look for?
Yeah, I think thanks. See, it's when you talk about magic wand, of course, I want to ask superpowers, and I would like to fly and all. But to be realistic, yeah, I think in terms of animation, I think the biggest challenge for all studios has been taking from script to delivering to the network. I think that has been a challenge because every studio is busy, every artist is busy. So now we have to use technology. So how do we use technology? Again, not everybody is putting most studios are not having an R&D wing. They're not researching or how can we speed up production? How can we make quality the same or better while speeding up production? So we've been working on such things. And ideally for me, the day I have the script, I would love to have the episode ready in a day or two, have the channel watch it, approve it. I think that will be the thing. Sometimes it's very difficult even for the networks to plan, like, okay, Diwali, what are we going to do? And suddenly there is some new current theme that comes up, and then you have to design as per that. It's almost impossible for those kind of scenarios. So hence, speed becomes the most speed of execution, at the same time quality storytelling, like it happens in live action. I think that's something that we need to pep up. Second, as Green Gold, there are a lot of areas that we are getting into. Of course, like Anu mentioned, we have gotten out into preschool on Netflix, and Mighty Little Beam is doing wonderful across entire world, including South America and remote places that we haven't been to. But I think even the future also we are looking at VFX as well as feature film content production for children as well as genres which are young adults. That is, I'm talking about movies like the Spider-Man or Marvel kind of movies that we are aspiring to do that, and we are working on that in the sense. So in Hyderabad, we are building a actual studio floor. A couple of them, they're being made right now as we speak, and we want to be ready for the future because I think the future, a lot of these shoots will happen virtually, pretty much in the studio, and then you have just changing green screens to LED television and those things. And we're getting ready for the future. We want to be ready when the world is changing so fast, and we never know when this pandemic, if it'll ever get over, we don't know. So I think we have to work in safe environments. So we have to figure out. So I think the future is going to be faster and brighter.
Anu, any wish from the magic wand? Is there something that you would like to look at happening? Apart from advertising, paying more money?
So one should, if the day you stop wishing and the day you stop dreaming is the day you stop living. So the dreams are unlimited. But right now, let's come back to the dreams of right now, how the work can and the life related to work can become easier. This is something I have brought up time and again on various platforms. And I know a lot of studios do complain about this fact every time I raise this issue. And my one humble suggestion to them every time I meet them on, face to face or we meet on such platform is, I always request them, please invest in storytellers. While we have great executioners, today the animation is, virtually day on day, the quality of animation is improving in India, and there's no doubt about it. And when I say it's literally from scratch to the end, when it comes to designing, when it comes to everything else, it's improving and it'll continue to improve. But my big worry as a broadcaster and as a storyteller is that we still lack original. There aren't enough good storytellers. One is executing, bringing it alive in the form of animation. That we are there. And we'll continue to improve. From where we started 10 years back, we have come a long way from there. But unfortunately, where we are still stuck, we don't have good storytellers. I have been saying it on virtually every platform. And I'll continue to say it because till the time we don't have good stories to tell, let me tell you, no matter how beautiful animation we might be able to come up with, that's not going to solve the purpose. End of the day, you can
10-second response from you. 10-second response from you, Rajiv, on this thing. Storytellers, is it because there aren't any available, or is it because you need more money from the broadcasters?
No, it's not about the money. I think Anu is absolutely hit the nail on the head. I mean, we need storytellers and more storytellers. And most importantly, great storytellers are going to Bollywood. I think we need to get Bollywood storytellers also to work on the animation side. Then I think it'll be great. But I think the new generation is going to be a lot different. I think parents are letting the creative children, pursue their dreams. I think if that happens, we're going to see a lot more storytellers in our world.
On that note, Vincent, any last word from you? I started off with you. Any word from, how will you put in more money into this network, into the genre? Is there one thing that you would do?
Definitely. When we earn more money, we'll put in more money. So just hoping that if we get the magic wand, we can get the external situation corrected. It will help everyone.
That's something that we all hope for. Thank you, everyone. Vincent, Anu, and Rajiv for this session. And thank you to the organizers for hosting us. Thank you very much. And over to you, Viral.
Thank you, guys.